Well, Chiefs Kingdom, it finally happened. Everything you've been waiting for, the DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City trade has been done. We see right here, he's smiling. He's looking up at Brett Veach saying, "Thank you for saving me from these Tennessee Titans." Now he's coming into Kansas City, helping out a Chiefs team that desperately needs wide receiver help. We don't know exactly the conditions of the fifth round pick that's being sent over. All we know is if those conditions are met, it will be a fourth round pick. We don't know exactly how much money the Titans are going to be taking, but we do know that the Chiefs tried to actually trade for Cooper Kupp, but they were not willing to part with more than a day three pick and then having to eat a lot more of that money. The Rams were not willing to do so. So now it is done. The Chiefs will have DeAndre Hopkins in Kansas City later on today, probably tomorrow at the latest. And he's going to start working with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to get better as the season goes along. And hopefully he gets better. He is dealing with a little bit of an MCL injury that he suffered early on in the season, probably during training camp. But hopefully those concerns are all gone and he can come into Kansas City and be exactly what they really do need. So today we are going to talk about DeAndre Hopkins, what he brings to the team, break down his film from the Titans and what he can actually be used to do in Kansas City. So thank you guys for being here. This is the RGR Football Channel. My name is Daniel Harms, senior film analyst, and we are diving into that tape very, very soon. If you're new to the channel, please hit that sub button right now and then allow me to earn a like from you guys as we work our way through one of the more exciting moves that Brett Veach has made over the past few seasons and digging in to that man, DeAndre Hopkins. And please welcome our friends at Autograph. You guys there, join up, use the code RGR, get a bunch of free stuff for the stuff you already do and consume all that content. So here we get DeAndre Hopkins, top of your screen. Now, just a little insight into what they do. They have used him historically, not just the Titans, but everybody that used DeAndre Hopkins is closer to a 78 outside percentage to 22 slot percentage. But here, this is really what you're getting from an outside perspective. They line up showing man coverage. You get a little bit of a push release. You see him like kind of hesitate, kind of pushes himself off the line. And what that does is it shows what the DB is going to do. So he ends up backing out. Sauce Gardner backs out into that outside leverage position, and that's exactly what DeAndre wanted. He wanted to see what you're going to do, so he pushes off right here. When he's backing up to his left, he already knows he's going to give a little bit of outside shoulder, and then boom, right across his face into that open window on the quick slant, right? And then you see goes up the field, little selling to the upside, little to the outside, breaks open the middle of the field, and it's a catch away from his body. One of the things that we know DeAndre Hopkins is known for and has been known for throughout his career. Not necessarily the yards after catch threat, but we're going to get to that in a little bit here as we continue to deal with what the Titans have done with DeAndre Hopkins. Outside usage, right? We talk about guys that are played mostly as outside receivers, and getting later in your career, it's not going to be the easiest to always create a ton of separation and be used the proper way. But the nuance is still there for DeAndre Hopkins here. He's just running an out route. But all the different ways that you can get to that out route are really what we want to talk about and showcase with DeAndre Hopkins. So here, it's just more about he's working to the inside. You have that DB on the outside. He wants to get to the outside. So he just comes up, releases back to the straight line a little bit, and then breaks to the out route, creating a little bit of separation in the process. This is another one of those timing routes. You see here at the top, he does give a little bit more to the verticality of it. If this were just being thrown right now with anticipation from Will Levis, this would probably be a completion, because there you see coming out of the break, the DB is not even turned his shoulders. He's still looking behind him. So this is, again, based on timing, something that the Chiefs do very, very well. And Patrick Mahomes has gotten acclimated to and used to throwing on timing. This would be a completion. It was 1st and 20 on this play. You would have gotten a lot of that back if had Will Levis been able to hit that throw. But this is just comes down to, I can't stand the way the Tennessee Titans have used him. And really at this point in his career, forcing him to just run up the field against guys that are as fast and faster than him, it doesn't make any sense. There's just too many go routes. And then you can see him going to the opposite side of the field into double coverage where that safety goes, because his eyes are right there. Dude, use a little bit of something. This is exactly why the Titans are not going to be looking to keep Will Levis in this situation. You can see that safety is shaded a little bit more towards that direction. Come off that and throw it to the opposite side and give the best hands guy in your team a chance to make a play in man-to-man coverage. But regardless, stop using DeAndre Hopkins in this way, shape, and form. Now, that's not to say that the Chiefs will not be using him in that rate at all. But we talked about his splits outside and inside, about 78 to 22%. That is going to change dramatically, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to see him be utilized as purely an outside receiver, because at this point in his career, yes, he has the ability to do so. And here you see him in that 3-by-1, or excuse me, 2-by-1 formation, where he's on the line of scrimmage, more of a reduced split. This is what we see a lot with the Chiefs, where instead of the tight end being over here, he's over here and it's 3-by-1. It's usually Travis Kelce. I think you can do a lot of this with DeAndre Hopkins as well, because he still has that ability to draw the single man coverage. And then we saw on that first play, which was a 3-by-1 coverage, or excuse me, a 3-by-1 formation from the Titans, and get man-to-man against Sauce Gardner. You're going to get a lot less competition in terms of the players you see on the outside until you hit the Broncos. But this is really what you want to see from him. The windows are not going to always be wide open. Here he's trying to move the DB to the outside so he can release to the inside, much like he did with Sauce Gardner. But it doesn't matter. He's still able to catch the football into these tight windows. He's not generating a ton of separation in man-to-man coverage as well. Also, because the Titans don't let him run a ton of inside routes when he's on the outside. He's still a ton of deep routes and things like that, a vertical route tree concepts, that really what he's being asked to do. So all of the different things that he's asked to do from an outside and vertical receiver position, he still can do. He just does not have that deep speed anymore. And honestly, I think that what we like to see from him is just the nuance. Bring that nuance to Kansas City, because Rashee Rice was learning it, and we have not seen, maybe outside of Travis Kelce, somebody, and what could have been Hollywood Brown, showcase more of that nuance. And this is another one of those examples of that outward route, right? They're going to a little bit play action here, and this is just what they want to do. Play action, run back this way just a little bit. And DeAndre Hopkins, inside alignment based on that outside, against that outside leverage DB, he needs to get out here, right? That's where he needs to get. So DeAndre Hopkins, very good job selling the glance route, right? Just that little bit glance over your shoulder, act like you're going to take that football right there, and then break to the out. You see he gets the DB slipping over his feet, and that's the kind of thing that he's going to bring into Kansas City regardless of where he's lined up. So right there's the glance, right? He glances over his shoulder right to the say, I'm going to throw me the ball right here, right now, with all of these linebackers sucked up to the line. You guys are all sucked up here from the play action. Sorry, the play action was the opposite way. So you guys can see running back goes this way first, and then we get a little bit of outside this from Will Levis there. And DeAndre Hopkins is feeding it to the middle of the field. And then boom, he breaks, slams on the brakes, hits that foot, puts it in the dirt. DB is going through a little bit of a slippage right there. And DeAndre Hopkins makes the catch on the left-hand sideline. So the nuance, just the general nuance that he's bringing from a wide receiver position in those outward routes, whatever he wants to use on the outside, still has all of that.
Want to tell you a little bit about our newest sponsor, Autograph. It's the greatest concept. It's a free app that curates all the best content for your Chiefs in one spot. And it lets you earn rewards for interacting with the content that you already want to watch. So check out Autograph. It's a free app download. You can get it at the link down below, or use our code RGR when you do. And that helps us help you get the rewards that you deserve from Autograph.
And the Titans, they had two receivers that are supposed to be good, and DeAndre Hopkins and what you're going to use to be Calvin Ridley, who's really used more in these downward, just these outward routes. But he's used a little bit in the slot. We see right there, condensed formation, stack formation for Ridley and Hopkins. And the Chiefs run something very similar to this with their levels concept. So they got the running back coming out to the flat right here. And what this does, again, we're going to divide this into 3 different levels of the field. Now, he just runs a go route, but typically for the Chiefs, this outside receiver runs more to a deep corner. And then the inside receiver right there, the slot, is going to go to that outward. So you're attacking 3 different levels of the defense and forcing them to have to choose, where they're going to go. And then all these 3 spots are going to be taken up. So this is a nice job from Hopkins, releasing underneath the DB right here. Release underneath with this receiver coming out here. It's an easy option for the offense, because when you release this guy to the outside, essentially it's 2 DBs versus 3 receivers. One of them has to go deep, just because you don't want to always trust the safety to be in that position. So with the speed from a guy like, Xavier Worthy taking off the top here, then you get a little bit of that outward route again from DeAndre Hopkins. that's something that you can still use to generate some big plays. And those are really the only two times that he got big plays down the field were in those specific plays. So you can bring a little bit more to the table with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who has the nuance and I think the ball catching ability. And so that's really what we want to focus on, is because that's not going to be something that the Chiefs are going to force him to do in terms of taking the top off. You don't have to worry about that right now. You got McCole Hardman, who's again playing very well, and Xavier Worthy, who's getting open at a very high rate. You're going to have a lot of space underneath. So you got DeAndre Hopkins right here, top of your screen. This is what we need to see more. This is something that I believe the Chiefs are going to do. You're going to use him in the Rashee Rice role. And you want to know why? Well, because he's not getting a ton of yards after the catch. I don't think it's because of pure ability. He's just not being thrown the football in areas where he should be thrown the football. And this is one of those areas, right? We see this all the time with the Kansas City Chiefs. They really want to exploit the middle of the field specifically because they have all those guys that can take the top off, and they still have Travis Kelce getting lots of attention on every other play. Look where what they do here. They just attack down the seam of the field and then run DeAndre Hopkins over the middle. The Chiefs do this all the time, and they get guys wide open. And unfortunately, this is just going to go into the the flat right there, which makes zero sense when you've got DeAndre Hopkins running wide open over the middle of the field, where he could have been, he could have gotten some yards here, gotten some good yards after the catch. So I believe that he's going to be more of a 50-50 split guy, 50-50 in the slot and the outside in Kansas City. And you're going to start to see him feast on these type of routes where Juju Smith-Schuster, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce have feasted, because that's something he still brings. He's got tons of defensive experience. That's why I was a big fan of bringing in a guy like Deontay Johnson or Amari Cooper, because they have those skills and they still have a better ability on the outside to create separation on their own. But the big advantage you're doing by taking a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who has been asked to get open, get us a bucket, we're going to make it work, you're going to throw the ball down the field and you're going to catch it, is that now he's coming into Kansas City to an offense that's going to scheme him open and use him more at 32 years old in the slot, where he can bring some attention. Right here, another timing route. You get open over the middle of the field on a little comebacker. Just throw the football, man. Throw it into the space right here and let your receiver work to it. That's something that, again, the Chiefs will do. Patrick Mahomes will do. But even so, you got two players right here. Attention here. So you have areas of the defense that are wide open, right? This is something that you're also going to create. Defensive leverage or defensive gravity, going towards DeAndre Hopkins wherever he is, because the Chiefs have injuries. So they're bringing him in, and obviously defenses are knowing that. They want them to target DeAndre Hopkins. They want them to bring in on plays just like this, where if he's coming to the middle here and you've got a guy like Travis Kelce who's maybe coming out to the flat here, just getting out there, you get some more defensive attention to that side. You're going to get some one-on-one coverages for Justin Watson and maybe Juju Smith-Schuster when he's healthy, but we know Xavier Worthy can run these routes too. Get out there and let him catch the football. And I think that just being able to create some space for your players, not named, Xavier Worthy and everybody else, because Travis Kelce's having to do a bulk of that work on his own. Get some attention off of him, and then you can utilize the middle of the field still with DeAndre Hopkins. And honestly, they used him more running to the middle of the field than I expected them to. The problem was he just wasn't always getting the football. Like right here, this is another example where he's going to go to the middle of the field, and he's wide open. Hi, there's nobody here. I'm in space. Come throw me the football. He doesn't have a ton of yards after the catch for a reason. It's because they didn't throw him the football here on a lot of these opportunities. Actually, Will Levis did a nice job of stepping up in the pocket there, getting away from the pressure. But he threw this into coverage, which should have been picked off, by the way. It should have been this. He gets rewarded for a terrible idea, a terrible decision to throw this down the field against Sauce, where he had nothing. I don't even know why Sauce didn't break better on this football, or the receiver, because he's looking over here and then he kind of stops and he just kind of assumed the ball was going to drop, and it didn't. But again, look at DeAndre Hopkins. Just a little over the middle of the field, running over route. He's wide open. Hi, guys. Second down. I'm open. Just sitting here. That's something that I hope that the Chiefs can still unlock with his game, because he has better I'm not just going to say he's got better yards after catch skills than a guy like Rashee Rice, but I think that he's going to still be able to get you some yards after the catch like Juju did. I think he can give you enough in that regard, the same level of play. So, and then we have again where you got stack formation at the top, boom, just to the middle of the field. Timing routes, curl routes to the middle. Get the usage, boom, throw the football. Like he has to wait now because the quarterback's not getting the football out quickly. And that's something where he's going to be in a drastic world of difference, because this could be Xavier Worthy on this side, and they could be flanked by Travis Kelce out here, Noah Gray out there. And that's another huge point. 12 personnel with Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins, and Xavier Worthy is a much better step, right? Even with a guy like Rashee Rice on the field and Xavier Worthy, he's not going to be there for the rest of the season with Rice. So they're hoping now that Hollywood Brown is going to be back for the postseason. And this is exactly the kind of place that you want to be, creating all of this. And this is really what the Chiefs have to deal with. They have to deal with tops on defense. So take advantage of all these places underneath where there's a ton of space, because you can create it. And then their run game, this is a play action pass to open the middle of the field. Once again, taking advantage of those linebackers being aggressive. The Chiefs have one of the most successful rushing attacks in the NFL. Just having DeAndre Hopkins in Kansas City running to the middle of the field, running into space, the guy who's going to catch the football all the time, some of the best hands in NFL history. This is what you're asking for. Now, again, we're not going to ask him in Kansas City to create a bunch of separation. That's something that a misnomer for me, my own problem, that I didn't necessarily want the Chiefs to trade a high round draft pick for him earlier to come in and not be a separating guy, especially if he's going to just be an X. So developing what we know about him in this offense and how the Chiefs are probably going to use him, drop that outside and inside usage from 78% to 50%. Ask him to run less snaps. Ask him to run to the middle of the field in some of these Rashee Rice role-esque type plays, and you can get the best out of him for this short duration. Because this is, again, in my opinion, is going to be a rental. I don't think you're going to see an extension off of this. He's 32 years old. The Chiefs are not going to be extending him after this. And at the end of the day, if all said and done in the red zone, what does he give you? A guy that can go get you a bucket. Get me a touchdown. I don't care if it's man-on-man coverage. I do not care. Imagine, again, this is 14 or 13 personnel. You bring out Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and Jody Fortson, and then your standalone receiver in the red zone is DeAndre Hopkins. Please let me do that a lot more in the red zone. It gives them more opportunities and more different chances to be able to make a play like this, because you just throw the football to his outside shoulder. Let him track that. In Patrick Mahomes in 2022 threw tons of back shoulder throws on the outside to Juju Smith-Schuster. That could be back. It could be live in this season with DeAndre Hopkins, because again, he doesn't need to create separation. He just needs to be able to go get you a bucket wherever you are on the field. It was 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and Travis Kelce has got double coverage, and you have one-on-one coverage with DeAndre Hopkins. He's a guy you can trust to make that play. So again, just the timing. We know he's great at using that all the different types of legal offensive pass interference that he's able to use, and the hands are legit. They're there. So what I'm saying is that I think that this can be a very impactful short-term answer to a long-term problem they're still going to have with the injuries this season, and utilizing him more in a Rashee Rice type role, not the funneling of targets like 10, 15 targets a game. That's not what you want. You want to see maybe 5 to 7 at most for DeAndre Hopkins in that role, because I think he can still give you first down. Because if you start to get those more, like I think the Chiefs, had Rashee Rice been fully healthy and started to continue attack over the middle of the field like that, like they continue to do that, we'd be seeing more from Xavier Worthy being on time, because he's been open a lot down the field. So if you get more eyes to the middle and the intermediate part, you're going to create more of those explosive plays that the Chiefs are trying to get in this offense. So all that said and done, the Chiefs finally did it. They finally traded for DeAndre Hopkins after all the years of speculation and are they going to do it? And fans clamoring for it. You guys got your wish, and here he's going to be in Kansas City. We'll see if he plays on Sunday against the Raiders. I think it would be a good opportunity just to get his feet wet in the offense, and I'm excited for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and are just as excited as we all are. And, I'll take a little bit of this. I didn't want them to trade for him. I'll be very honest, not necessarily this year, but he has not been what everyone expected him to be. But watching his tape, getting into what I think the Chiefs can use him for, I'm far more optimistic about what could happen and how he can be impactful on this offense than I previously was. So there you go, guys. Me admitting that I could be wrong definitely about how this ends up going, considering his usage in Kansas City. So you guys probably going to be very excited, not just to see this, but to see what he does in this room, in this wide receiver room with Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback he's ever played with. The best quarterback. He's going to be very happy about that, especially after his time in Tennessee. So, and guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Please, if you are new to the channel, hit that sub button right now. Hit the like on the way out.